Last night was certainly very, very interesting. We watched a helicopter carry a 20-foot egg around on a rope, and we were told that that is aliens. I still don't really know what to do with that information yet. I'm still processing. We watched Peyton Talbot get absolutely fraud-checked, which was wild to see. I mean, his defense off of his back was dog shit. His takedown defense off the single leg was horrendous. I mean, look, man, for everybody saying that he's the next Sean O'Malley, I guess that does check out, doesn't it? We watched Yuri Prochazka put a boxing clinic on Jamal Hill. And I will be honest, that is my most proud fight prediction of the night. It weirdly seems like every single time somebody with slightly spotty boxing defense fights Jamal Hill, for some reason, the MMA world thinks that Jamal is just going to go out there and snipe him. And I just don't know really where that ever came from. I think Jamal Hill is not a sniper. Jamal Hill is not a knockout artist. I mean, people were legitimately predicting he was going to go out there and knock out Alex Pereira. And it's like, where are you getting this from? You getting it from the Johnny Walker fight? I mean, Johnny Walker ran into Hill's counter shot. The Jimmy Crute fight, I mean, again, right, Hill landed a good shot, but the reason he knocked him out was because he landed as Crute was trying to land. But for the most part, Jamal Hill needs a lot of volume. Jamal Hill lights you up. You know what I mean? He's not the kind of guy that's going to go out there and touch you with a shot and put you down. And honestly, Jamal's defense is pretty bad himself. He gets hit a lot. And frankly, Yuri Prochazka is way more dangerous than him in close. You look at the Dominic Reyes fight, you look at the Rakic fight, when Yuri touches you, he hurts you. And that's why, to me, it was really a no-brainer to pick Yuri to win. I had him on my parlay as the underdog, but I'll tell you what I was not expecting was Yuri to go out there and put on a complete boxing clinic. That I was not prepared for. I mean, Yuri said after the Pereira fight that he needed to evolve. He needed to change something. I mean, he absolutely did. The pull counters he was landing, the head movement, the footwork. I mean, it was crazy to see. And, look, it's interesting. I think you got to now give him the winner of Olberg versus Jan Blachowicz. I don't know how interested we are in seeing him get knocked out by Alex Pereira for a fourth time. But then we have Islam Makhachev proving why having a black belt is pretty fucking meaningless, but that's a video topic for another day, because ever since the Arman dropout, the real main event of 311 was Umar versus Merab. I mean, that was the fight that I was most hyped about, and I'll tell you what, going back to my original breakdown for that fight, to me, the big thing going into it was, you got a guy in Umar whose skill set seems to be completely and utterly unfair. I mean, again, the amount of technical things this guy can do to a high level is fucking absurd. But then you're putting him against Merab, whose attributes are, again, completely and utterly unfair. And that is pretty much the ultimate clash. What is going to come out on top? And I mean, fuck, what we saw was the attributes just absolutely did. And honestly, my big takeaway after all of this is just how fucking cool is it that we get to see somebody as skilled as Umar have to face such difficult opposition. I mean, again, I will be repeating this till the day that I die, but Khabib gets hailed as the second coming of Muhammad by a large portion of the MMA world for beating up Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, and the guy that Cowboy Cerrone armbarred twice in one night. Whereas Umar, to even get to the title, has to go through fucking Merab. Like, I'm just grateful we even got to see such a high-level fight. And the truth is, man, there is no question, Umar and Merab are the two best bantamweights the world has ever seen. We've never seen two fighters better than these two guys. And look, the fight was very, very close, but going into it, I saw stylistical advantages for each guy, and the question was, who was going to capitalize? I thought Umar was going to be the person to do it. I mean, Team Khabib has always had such phenomenal game plans. I mean, there's no question. You look at the difference between Belal Muhammad's first fight with Leon and his second fight with Leon. You look at Islam Makhachev's first fight with Volkanovski and the second fight with Volkanovski. The only difference between each of those fights was Khabib was not not in the corner for the first one of each of those. And when he did come, the game plan was just perfect. But I'll be honest, man, Umar did not have a good game plan for this fight. I even think during this fight, Khabib fucked him. Honestly, I think this was the first time we have seen horrible coaching from Team Khabib, whereas Merab did exactly what he needed to win. He followed the game plan perfectly. To me, right, looking at this matchup for Merab, Umar Nurmagomedov, for how skilled he is, does not have one-punch knockout power. His boxing has come a long way. He is frankly very skilled in that area. I mean, he completely shut down Corey Sandhagen on the feet, but because he doesn't have the ability to really stun you with a single shot, there's nothing stopping Merab from really getting in his face, really swinging at him, and that is what's going to open up the non-stop takedown attempts. I mean, that is what I was saying he absolutely needed to do. Again, right, against Sean O'Malley, I've said this about a million times, he couldn't do this. He couldn't try to go after Sean, overwhelming him with volume, because Sean is a sniper who will put your lights out with a single counter shot. But Umar, just the threat was not the same there. So Merab needed to get in his face, and that is exactly what we saw. There were so many moments through the fight where Merab was going after him. Umar was landing, but Merab didn't really care. Again, just stood right in front of him, winging these bombs, and was overwhelming him. Whereas on the flip side, what I thought Umar Nurmagomedov needed to do was keep the fight at kicking range and target the fuck out of Merab's abdomen with his teeps. That is absolutely what he needed. When you watch the Sean O'Malley fight, that is the one fucking takeaway that any competent coach should see. Merab was not defending these teeps well at all. Even when he was hurt, he still wasn't defending the teeps well. That should have been step fucking one for Umar, and it wasn't there, man. It just wasn't. Now look, here is the thing though, right? Umar Nurmagomedov does not teep like Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley does such a good job flicking the teep right into the gut, whereas Umar, it's far more of a push kick. Now look, in my mind, for somebody as skilled as Umar, if I was coaching him, our entire training camp would be working on just teep to the gut, teep to the gut, teep to the gut. And of course, as soon as Merab starts really worrying about it, we're going to start turning that into a question mark kick. It just wasn't there. I mean, Umar didn't try. And look, I think it is very possible that Merab's coaches saw this deficiency and they really tried to plug that hole, and they would really try to work on teep defense. I mean, that's possible. As of right now, I mean, I don't even know if that's the case. Umar didn't try, and I think that's crazy. I gotta be honest. I think Team Khabib really dropped the ball there with that. But as I mentioned earlier, where Khabib really dropped the ball, where he completely sodomized Umar, where he just completely fucking went brain dead for a second, is in between rounds 2 and 3. Khabib tells Umar,
right now is when you start wrestling. Every centimeter, don't give him nothing. This is it. Do you understand me? Look at me. Everything, you take everything. You are going to wrestle the whole time.
Now is where you start to wrestle. And not only that, he ends it off with, you will be wrestling the whole time? No. That was literally the worst thing he possibly could have told him. One thing was very, very clear after the first 2 rounds, and that was Merab is stronger. Merab is stronger than Umar, and it's not a question. And you saw it so clearly. When Merab was shooting takedowns, Umar's defense was really good. However, he was having to work really, really hard to stop it. And that's just because, again, strength matters a lot in wrestling. The stronger you are, the more you can manipulate your opponent with your takedowns. Therefore, the more energy your opponent has to spend trying to stop it. Whereas on the flip side, it was just very clear Merab didn't need to work as hard to stop Umar's takedowns. I remember at a certain point, Umar had Merab's back standing, and he went went completely dead weight on him, trying to yank him down to take his back. And Merab just didn't, he just stood there like a fucking statue. Umar couldn't move him. And then you got Merab grabbing a single leg and then dumping Umar over and over again. Look, the last thing Umar needed as he was starting to fatigue was to start grappling offensively. There is nothing more tiring than shooting a takedown, exploding into it, and then it just getting stuffed. That is what really drains you, and Khabib fucked Umar giving him that advice. What Umar needed to do at that moment was keep the distance, stay technical, move, and just keep trying to touch Merab over and over again. Don't explode. No need to bite down on your mouthpiece and try to do these wrestling scrambles. He needed to try to keep it technical. And again, Khabib just fucking dropped the ball. Though I do remember during the live stream, some people in chat were asserting that, no, Umar is shooting purely to try to get Merab off of him. And I don't think that was true for most of the exchanges. I mean, there were times in round 4 while Umar was pretty fucking dead tired, and he's actually landing some decent shots, but then would follow it up with a takedown that immediately got stuffed. So he should have just tried to keep it in this area. Again, though, like I mentioned earlier, Merab just had a stylistical advantage in the sense that nothing was stopping him from really trying to pressure Umar and really try to get into his face in these moments that he was starting to fatigue. I just don't think that grappling offensively was the answer. Even then, though, because of how skilled this fight was, I mean, it was very, very close. Going back and rewatching it, to me, round 1 was very close. It seemed like Merab was winning the round up until about the last minute. Umar lands a really, really clean shot. And from there, it seemed like Umar took round 1. Round 2, I don't think there's a question. Umar won that one. Rounds 3 and 4 both go to Merab. Round 4 especially, Umar was fucking on critical condition. His check engine light was flashing. Round 5, Umar was winning the entire round. To me, I remember as I'm watching it live, it's like, holy shit, Umar's got it. He just won this round. Then, with 30 seconds left, Merab cracks him right on the chin. You see Umar wobble just a little bit. And I mean, that was the biggest shot of the round, no question. To me, it's 2-3. Merab won the fight. Now, of course, there are some asterisks with this fight. Of course, right, Umar broke his hand. At first, it kind of seemed like he was just making an excuse. But based on the photo we've seen put out since then, I mean, yeah, right, Umar's hand is definitely broken. All I have to say about that, though, is I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck, all right? You don't need your hand to be keeping Merab in the gut like you should have been from the very start, right? Umar's push kicks to his question mark kicks, to me, are one of the best aspects of his game. Merab has shown to be weak to an attack like that prior. Didn't capitalize on it, so I don't give a fuck about your broken hand, all right? I don't even think you really needed it in the first place. So now, I mean, the question is, what's next? You know what I mean? I know some people immediately following the fight were like, oh, we need a rematch. That was too close. And again, right, it was very, very close. One of the judges gave it 49-46 to Merab. I don't know about that. I was expecting a split decision, but look, right, the fight was close. I do think that Umar could, in theory, do a lot better in a rematch, but his only elite win as of now is Corey Sandhagen. I say either give him Peter Yan, give him Sean O'Malley, give him another top contender for a number 1 contenders fight, then we can see about that. But as of now, man, I mean, Merab is a fucking problem. All that back knee, all that cardio, all that toughness, he's going to be just simply an absolute bitch to beat for anybody. And frankly, man, Team Khabib, they're fucking horrible. Khabib's a horrible coach, I guess, is my conclusion to all this.